President of Iraq agrees to fully comply with UN Resolution 660 and to all the other Security Council resolutions. A small, short sentence there, but it means a lot. The U.S. has been asking for this for a long time, and so have the rest of the allies. This was transmitted to the President of the UN Security Council. It was signed by the Foreign Minister of Iraq, Tariq Aziz. Now, we're told that this response from Iraq was delivered, it actually was formulated before President Bush's speech. And there is, you may have noticed there, no mention of several of the things that President Bush mentioned in his speech. The U.S. wanted, and its allies wanted, specific assurances about the immediate release of POWs and the immediate release of what are called detainees. These are Kuwaitis who have been sort of taken hostage by the Iraqis. And what we just read to you there does not contain any reference to either POWs or detainees. We asked a U.S. official for comment on this. He basically said, well, we don't act as rug merchants with peace initiatives. We've told the Iraqis what we want. This isn't it, though. There's no denying that they've come a long way. Nevertheless, the bazaar is not open, is what he said. What the feeling among U.S. officials is that this is a step forward, but this is not everything that the U.S. wants. They do want those specific assurances. Now, here at the UN, we are still waiting to see whether there will be a meeting tonight of the UN Security Council. The U.S. is not pressing for a meeting. We're told the Iraqis are not pressing for a meeting, but some members of the Council do want one, and it looks like they're gearing up here for a meeting. We'll still have to see and wait and see what happens. I'm Jeanne Moos reporting live from the UN.
Jeanne, some of the allies probably wanted to see this go a little bit farther because this potentially could leave Saddam Hussein in power. What kind of sense to that do you get?
Well, I think here at least there was a sense of relief that the United States didn't go any further because although the coalition was holding together, I mean, there were strains on it. If the United States would have continued with this, it would have been a little bit hard to say that they weren't exceeding the Security Council mandate. But in any case, if the United States is stopping here, there's no longer any problem with that.
Jeanne Moos at the United Nations tonight. Thank you. CNN will replay the President's speech in about an hour. We will have it for you at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific, here on CNN.
It is just after 8 o'clock in the morning in Baghdad. CNN's Peter Arnett is in the Iraqi capital. Peter, what can you tell us?
Yeah, well, President Bush's announcement came just before dawn Baghdad time after a night of heavy bombing of the capital. This is the beginning of the 7th week of the war. Radio Baghdad has still carried no information on the situation, but it is clear that many Iraqis were listening to international broadcasts. This is part of the celebration in the city. As dawn came, there was considerable shooting of weapons in the air. We could see them from our hotel window. There was anti-aircraft fire. There was small arms shooting. This is the Iraqi way of celebrating. They've been doing it a bit in the last 2 weeks. There's been several false starts, false hopes that maybe peace was near. An official we met in the lobby of the Al Rashid Hotel at dawn today said, "It's about time. It's the only way to end this war." For 2 weeks now, Baghdad residents have been open about their desire to end the war and their willingness to agree with the government's giving up of Kuwait. The lack of response by the Iraqi government to President Bush's call for details such as a battlefield meeting with field commanders and immediate release of all prisoners. This lack of immediate response is not unusual. Iraqis have shown that they, first of all, don't like ultimatums, but also there seems to be a real communication problem within the government. So there's usually hours and maybe days of delays before this information is communicated. This is Peter Arnett, CNN, reporting live from Baghdad.
Peter, are you still under Iraqi censorship? Is there an Iraqi minder still there with you at this point?
Interestingly enough, on this particular occasion, there is no minder standing right beside us. They could be in the control room. I can point out that censorship basically has relaxed in the last week or so in the final stages of the war, but usually there is a minder here. Usually we certainly run our video through there for their perusal. This morning with the video of the celebrants in the streets shooting their weapons, they did approve that today. The other day they did not allow us to use much. So basically it is a relaxed attitude here this morning.
Peter, there have been reports that the Allies have now more than 50,000 Iraqi POWs. Do the Iraqi people that you have been able to speak with, do they know the full extent of the defeat of the Iraqi army?
They don't know it from the official media. Radio Baghdad has been circumspect in its reference to battlefield losses. The local newspapers have not mentioned it, but every Iraqi, it seems, tunes into Saudi broadcasts, to Jordanian, Syrian, to the Voice of America and the BBC, so they're pretty much aware of what is being said outside the country. Yesterday we were in town. There was a sense of foreboding. There was a real sense of people wanting to end the war. Everyone we talked to had relatives in the front. They seemed concerned about their fates. And the details, yes, they probably know as many details as people in neighboring countries, but not officially.
There has been speculation as to the fate of Saddam Hussein in his country, or perhaps if he leaves Iraq. Is there any discontent there that you are able to tell us about?
It seems to us that Saddam Hussein still controls the levers of power totally. I'd heard reports over the weeks of demonstrations against Saddam Hussein in different cities. I have not been able to confirm any of them. He does have his government apparatus intact. There is no indication that we have that he is, his power is shaky. We wouldn't know that until maybe something move against him really happened.
Do you expect that there might be a move against him?
I can't address that, even with a minder not here. I don't know if that could happen. Politics in the Middle East are volatile, but his Socialist Ba'ath Party has been in power for years. He has his closest supporters around him. I don't know what form it would come if there was opposition to Saddam Hussein.
Peter, briefly, are you at all concerned for your personal safety at this point?
Could I have that question again, please?
Briefly, are you at all concerned for your personal safety or the journalists in Baghdad now at this point?
I would like to think that this undertaking to comply with the UN resolutions and with the ceasefire, with the release of POWs, I would like to think the journalists will be released along with the POWs. We have no word on that at this point.
Thank you, CNN's Peter Arnett, keeping us up to date live from Baghdad. Patrick.
CNN's Frank Sesno is at the White House tonight, and of course the guns of war presumably have been silent for about 10 minutes now, Frank.
That's right, Patrick. There is no official response from the White House, however, to these latest developments at the United Nations, although a short while ago a senior administration official told us that he was optimistic that Iraq would indeed comply with the terms set out by President Bush, and that in fact Iraq had very little choice, given that it faces almost total and certainly humiliating defeat on the battlefield. The president laid out his terms explicitly in his Oval Office address. They were words few thought would be uttered quite so soon.
Kuwait is liberated. Iraq's army is defeated. Our military objectives are met.
An emotional, occasionally smiling President Bush pronounced mission accomplished and said the time had come to stop the fighting.
I am pleased to announce that at midnight tonight, Eastern Standard Time, exactly 100 hours since ground operations commenced and 6 weeks since the start of Operation Desert Storm, all United States and coalition forces will suspend offensive combat operations.
After a day that saw jubilant flag-waving Kuwaitis take to the streets in relief and gratitude, President Bush heralded victory in the name of the United Nations and in the cause of the rule of law.
Tonight, the Kuwaiti flag once again flies above the capital of a free and sovereign nation, and the American flag flies above our embassy.
Whether the suspension of hostilities, as the president calls it, becomes a permanent ceasefire is up to the Iraqis. He said they must release immediately all coalition prisoners of war, third country nationals, and the remains of those killed in action, reveal the whereabouts of all mines and booby traps, comply with all relevant UN resolutions, refrain from firing on coalition forces, and from launching any more Scud missiles.
If Iraq violates these terms, coalition forces will be free to resume military operations.
Mr. Bush said Iraq must also, within 48 hours, designate military commanders to meet with allied counterparts to arrange the formal aspects of the ceasefire, essentially to surrender. Mr. Bush said it's time to look beyond victory in war. Secretary of State Baker, who conferred by phone Wednesday with Soviet Foreign Minister Besmyrtnik, will go to the Mideast next week. The coalition has already begun consultations on post-war challenges.
There can be and will be no solely American answer to all these challenges, but we can assist and support the countries of the region and be a catalyst for peace.
The decision to make the speech and call for a halt to the fighting came at an afternoon meeting of the President's War Council at the White House. Joint Chiefs Chairman Colin Powell phoned General Norman Schwarzkopf directly from the Oval Office. Schwarzkopf confirmed the war was essentially over. The President's commanders said Iraq's military backbone had been broken. The President wanted to deliver a prompt message to the families of U.S. servicemen and women.
And soon, we will open wide our arms to welcome back home to America our magnificent fighting forces.
This is not a time for euphoria or a time to gloat, the President said, but it is a time for pride. Within days of Iraq's invasion of Kuwait, President Bush declared this aggression will not stand. The coalition he built and the military operation he ordered defied both expectations and history. The President's spokesman says Mr. Bush feels a burden has been lifted. Patrick?
Frank, we have, of course, heard from Jeanne Moos that the Iraqis are accepting the 12 UN resolutions, and now I guess we would be looking at a timetable. Have you heard any kind of timetable concerning the return of U.S. forces, if not all, partial?
We spoke earlier with White House spokesman Marlin Fitzwater about that very point, and he said while the Bush administration and other coalition members, for that matter, will have to study exactly what the Iraqis' response is and exactly what they're saying over the next several hours and presumably days, he believes that the President will want to start bringing at least some U.S. service personnel back very quickly indeed. And despite the fact that this will be under study naturally, Fitzwater says he expects the first troops to start returning in a matter of days, certainly not weeks, he said.
Frank Sesno at the White House. We'll continue with our coverage in a moment.